Nokia has a long history of making trend-setting and path-breaking phones, but perhaps what they're best known for is producing amazing camera phones. However, after HMD Global took over the brand and started producing smartphones again, the camera setup on the phones have been less than stellar, at least until now. It seems that we may finally have a smartphone that's worthy of a Nokia brand name as far as cameras are concerned. This is Sandeep from RevAtlas, and here's our review of the Nokia 9 Pureview. The Nokia 9 Pureview is the flagship product in Nokia's lineup, at least for the first half of 2019. But some of its choices may seem quite unlike a flagship, at least when you compare it to some of the other offerings on the market. The most notable difference is the fact that the 9 Pureview comes with the Snapdragon 845 10nm octa-core chipset from last year, while similar offerings from other brands are usually equipped with the Snapdragon 855 chipset from 2019. In terms of regular day-to-day performance and multitasking, we haven't encountered any major issues or instances where the 845 bottlenecks. That's perhaps because the 845 is still a powerful enough chipset to begin with, and for most it's good enough. Having stock Android as well as getting regular updates thanks to Android One program does ensure smooth functioning as well, and there's no bloatware either. There's also 6GB of RAM and 128GB of storage, which again should fit most people. The memory is not expandable, but you get a dual nano SIM card slot. Where the 845 does seem to show that it isn't sufficient is when you do anything related to the camera. The camera app takes a long time to launch, and it also takes a long time to process, which can even extend to as long as 30 seconds at times if you enable depth mapping on photos. Granted that it's mapping up to 1200 layers, which is way more than most other smartphones in this segment, but it seems like Nokia should have bundled a Snapdragon 855 with it, which should have made it faster if not eliminated the slowness altogether. But then again, in Nokia's favor, a camera setup such as the one on the Nokia 9 Pureview with 5 12MP f1.8 lenses, 1.25 micron pixel size and 1x2.9 in sensor size requires a lot of fine tuning both on the software and hardware front. So perhaps even with the 855 the issues would have persisted and they wouldn't have been able to make it in time for MWC 2019. But then again, considering how long we have been waiting for a true camera phone from Nokia, another couple of months wouldn't have mattered much in the larger scheme of things. Surely software updates will have fine-tuned it further and shorten the app launch, photo processing and other sluggishness, but there'll still be a limit. In terms of image quality, the 2 RGB and 3 monochrome Zeiss optic cameras as well as the time-of-flight depth sensing camera give amazing results when they work well. They aren't as versatile as having multiple focal lengths, but in terms of sheer image quality, it's definitely great. You also get a 20MP 1 micron camera up front, and we'll dive deep into the full camera quality and other aspects during our camera review, so please do stay tuned for that. For now, these samples should give you an idea on what to expect. In terms of design too, the Nokia 9 is a mixed bag. It feels amazing to hold and use considering the premium metal and glass build, which is also IP67 rated for protection against dust and water. The Corning Gorilla Glass 5 panel also blends beautifully well and complements the midnight blue color, which transitions from lighter to darker shades based on how you look at it. But where it perhaps feels way behind the competition is the design up front. There's substantial bezels at the top and bottom, as well as fairly wide bezels on the sides. When you compare it to the likes of the Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus, you definitely do see a difference. Of course, this also does have a hidden advantage as there's no notch whatsoever on the 9 Pureview, but instead you get a 5.99-inch POLED display with 1440p pixels and has an aspect ratio of 18:9. The display is great in terms of colors as well as sunlight legibility. It even supports HDR10 as well as has different color modes under the pure display setting. The edges are chamfered and have a glossy aluminum finish, while the sides have a semi-glossy finish. You'll notice that apart from the large array of cameras at the back, there's nothing much else, and that's because of the fingerprint scanner which is housed within the display. It's perhaps one of the least impressive implementations of an in-display fingerprint scanner. It doesn't always work, and even when it does, it's often slow and erratic. You do get a face unlock feature as well, which makes use of the front camera, which I feel is faster and better. And considering that Nokia really hasn't told that the updates will fix the fingerprint scanner, it's probably best to stick with the face unlock feature. It feels thicker than the 8mm thickness that it has owing to the shape, but it's still pretty manageable overall and reminded me quite a bit of the LG G6, albeit in a bigger footprint. It's 172 grams in terms of weight, which is well distributed, and despite the glossy back panel, which is a fingerprint magnet, the sides have a semi-gloss finish which actually provides quite a lot of grip. There's no audio jack on board, but the audio quality both over the wired route as well as over the speaker is brilliant. The speaker is really loud and bottom firing, but is not a dual speaker setup unfortunately. Still pretty impressive overall. There's a 3320 mAh battery under the hood, which doesn't seem like much, especially when you consider the fact that the display is a 1440p panel and the battery life we got was good but not great. We got around 5 to 5.5 hours of screen on time on most days and 6 maybe on one occasion. It's fine for some, but for heavier users like me, it won't last the entire day. Luckily, the USB 3.1 Type-C port does support 18W QC 3.0 quick charge, as well as fast 10W wireless charging, and the former of which takes slightly over 1.5 hours to charge from 15% to full. The Nokia 9 Pureview is most definitely meant to be a smartphone for fans, particularly those who have ever used or owned one or more of the Pureview series back in the day. This limited run device has a lower asking price, especially for a flagship, and that's helpful. But apart from the camera setup, it's hard to really find a reason to recommend the Nokia 9 Pureview, and even that does have a share of ups and downs, which we shall discuss in the camera review soon. Feels like one should perhaps wait for the Nokia 9.1 Pureview, if there ever is one, as it could possibly solve some of the issues with the Snapdragon 845 variant if they ever bundle it with a Snapdragon 855 chipset. But if you still want to buy it, it's not a bad phone. It's a fairly capable flagship phone with a few caveats as we mentioned earlier. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please do hit the subscribe button. See you again in the next one. Thanks for watching this video. Make sure you visit zestmoney.in and avail instant loans to purchase your dream products, be it a smartphone, electronics, furniture, and more across Flipkart, Amazon, and more than 100 other partners.